if it came across my desk, I had nothing on my mind. I'm getting everything I need. You know what? I'm going to take 100% of that and just put it in the mail that goes to this guy. And then he says, man, I don't need it either. It goes to that guy. I can't think of it. Maybe I take it. So well, I did want to get that acreage by the coast and, start that cut flower cafe business. So, I take a chunk out to do that. But, $1 billion comes by. I'm not going to spend all that. Maybe 10 million, but, you know, and on and on. You see, we could do this thing. It's just we'd see the silliness of money in its entirety. We'd see it through God's point of view. And when we did that, we'd say, God, we've been so foolish. Look at the horrors that have been caused by this thing we call money, this entity, this concept, this idea that we need this crap. And it's so great, sophisticated bartering system and all this crap. It's bull. No, my friends, money was invented for one reason: for evil men to steal from what in their minds are lesser men. It's that simple. What we have today is slavery normalized right under our noses. A long, gradual period of time. And it's just caused this wealth imbalance, the disparity, the wealth disparity, and it has caused a lot of poverty. Okay, and it's evil. It's that simple. There's no other word for it. And this is the religion of establishmentarianism, status quoism, statism. And it's vile. It's repugnant in the sight of God. And it is to the righteous too. You hate injustice. You hate to have to watch it grow. It's torture. It's torture. It torments me. And it should torment you too if you consider yourself a good human being, a righteous, upright, decent human being, okay, that cares about his fellow man, that cares about Jesus Christ, the least of men. Okay, and we all do something, man. We speak out. We get our hearts and minds straight, our purpose, and we go out there. We value the same things as God. We're going to get our reward. It's guaranteed. And you know what? I mean, when our values are the same as his and we let people know they're precious treasure, don't believe the lie that you're just another warm body and nobody needs you. You could save lives. I mean, somebody that's on the verge of taking their own life, you never know. You might be the last person they talk to. You might be the last person they have a chance to talk and to dissuade them. You don't even know it. You'd be totally unaware. But God's watching. God sees everything. He cares about us. The little minutia. So just remember to be grateful for all the little things in your life, the simple things. I mean, just, try your best to enjoy your life. You have not only a right to do that, according to the Constitution, not just of America, but of humanity. You got a right to pursue happiness. You're trying to be really happy. You don't want pseudo happiness. Okay, that's like being in the wrong line. You're like waiting in line. People over there, they're going, we're getting, we got it going on in this line over here. But you're in the other line, the slow line. It's like, well, wait, but the reward is real in this one. It's eternal. You're just in the temporary line, buddy. And there's a lot of people that are saying, no, that's the right way to go. That's the pragmatic way to go. That's you understand how it works. That's the people that support the establishment and this trajectory, this direction we're going as a people. And it's evil, it's vile, and it's causing poverty, and you're a part of that. If you're silent about these things, you think it's cute, you think it's funny, you think it's okay to tolerate homelessness en masse, and telling you you're evil, you're incompassionate, you're un-American, if you don't want all the immigrants in the world to come to America. If they say they're desperate, they're refugees, they could come here. Whatever, we'll give them money. Our governor is doing that. I mean, where does it end? And yet, me speaking out for native-born American sons and daughters, I'm some kind of bad man, right? For speaking out for Jesus Christ. And then we call ourselves a Christian nation. I'm thinking, God, our principles are pretty good. I mean, we basically made peace with the Indians for the most part. Yeah, there's been some horrible things in the slavery. I'm opposed to all this stuff. Okay, it's terrible. It's reprehensible, and it's ungodly. I mean, we've got to understand we're one race, we're one species, we're one family, and in order to be happy, okay, we need to perceive it in that way, to behold it in that way, to embrace our species, civilization in that way. You've got to care about others as much as you care about yourself. You've got to live by the golden rule. Otherwise, there's no way you could find happiness, I could find happiness, or anybody's going to find happiness. Okay, we've got to give a damn about the least of men. And when we start doing that, we'll see God's hand of protection return. But until we start caring about these people out on, I mean, for God's sake, what if they were your children? Those are somebody's children out there. Do you understand? Above all, they're God's children. We're all owned by God. And God says, you're letting my property, my precious treasure, suffer needlessly and die sometimes out there in the cold. And you're going about your merry way, enjoying your prosperity, your sense of security and freedom, financial freedom. And I'm watching you. And you're going to give account for your belief system, your BS, on the day of reckoning when you stand before me and give an account. What have you done with this life I gave you, this existence, this human existence, this godlike existence? What have you done? Who have you become? Where's your character? Where's your substance? Where are your values? Where's your heart, your mind, your spirit, your soul? Is it all invested in this temporal scene? Or have you invested in eternal things, similar values to what I have? Have you fought the good fight for justice, not for some, but for everybody? Not left anybody out. Consider your suffering, somebody else's suffering, as your very own suffering. Have you done that? We're going to have to answer these questions. We want to give an account for it. I mean, I like life, and I don't want it to end. I don't like this idea of death. I don't believe in death. I believe it exists, but it's really the big sleep. So it's all how you look at it, perception, perspective. Okay? But I believe in eternal life, and I don't want to live it in a crap hole. And I sure as hell don't want to go down from here. And that's what I'm trying to convince you. That's why I call people my friends. I mean, look, I'm talking to you just like what I talk to my own children. I care about everybody just like my own children. Why, you understand? I mean, if that's how God is, and God's got to be a perfect God, we're his children, equally beloved. He can't play favorites, or else we'd say, well, that God's inferior. You'd fire him. So you've got to be that same way in your life and consider everybody like your child. Care as much about everybody as your child. And then you'd see through God's point of view, his eyes, what we're supposed to do here and how easy it is to follow the golden rule. We got to live that way, and it starts in our hearts and minds. Say, I want to be ready. If that's your will, God, that's what you want for us on earth, and your will is going to be established, sooner or later it's going to happen. And it keeps getting closer and closer, that you're going to put your foot down and you're going to demand it by the finger, the hand of God, working through righteous people that aren't cowards, and they demand justice on earth, not for some, but for everybody, freedom. This earth belongs to God. We're God's equally beloved children. We have an equal right to share in the prosperity, the resources. It's that simple, cut and dry. That's God's perspective, and that should be our perspective. So how do we get off money? Well, we could do it gradually, but the evildoers do not want that to happen. They will not allow that to happen. How does that happen? Through gradual prosperity, supply and demand. It gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. That's it. Just like what happened with the VCR. We find easier and easier methods to produce all the things we need and want. It's that simple. So those things are abundant. They're everywhere. We don't care anymore. We don't care about money. We don't care about stuff. We're just doing what God wanted us to do. Enjoy our lives on planet Earth. Have fun. Okay, express yourselves. I mean, you're imaginative. You're artistic. You appreciate beauty. You have five senses, and this is what I've given you. I've made you in my image and likeness. You're virtually inexhaustible in your imagination. Is practically limitless. And this is what I've given you. And you're part of this cosmic tapestry for all eternity. Now enjoy. Have fun. But you got to get away. If you can get away from the things that are bugging you, do it. We can't get away from the organic things, like the diseases and death, all the other things that are difficult, but they're across the board. They affect us all equally. Natural disasters, all this kind of stuff. It's too hot, it's too cold. We all got to deal with these things. But the other stuff is very biased and discriminating, and it picks on people. It's very objectionable, and you've got to demand that you just can't be silent about it. Nobody can afford to be silent about it, because we will answer for our silence. Silence speaks volumes. Friends, try to savor the moment.